Greetings, my friends, and welcome to the episode of The World According to Waz. This is my first episode of 2024. It is now July 3rd, Wednesday, 2024. Happy New Year to all my friends. Hope you all had a Merry Christmas. Had a good New Year's. Hope you made it through it safe and alive. And hope we're all looking forward to a good year. It should be an interesting year, to say the least. Election year. Lord knows what's going to happen. Hopefully everything will turn out okay. Hopefully it doesn't resort to any sort of violence or anything like that, but who knows? Regardless of what happens, it's going to be interesting, to say the least. My friends, I want to talk to you about something that's really been troubling me. And it has to do with this lady, Claudine Gay, I should say, from Harvard. She's been forced to step down as president of Harvard. And let me read the story from SCNR News, which is formerly of Timcast, Tim Pool's gig. They now call it SCNR. And the story, the headline is, Claudine Gay steps down as president of Harvard. It says the resignation marks the shortest presidency in the university's history. This story is from yesterday, January 2nd. And according to the piece, it starts with a quote from our good friend Claudine. It says, with a heavy heart but deep love for Harvard that I write to share that I will be stepping down as president, she wrote in a letter to the school community posted on X, which, by the way, is the artist formerly known as Twitter. That's my little side note there. Through WBZ TV in Boston, reporter Christina Rex. Quote, this is not a decision I came to easily. Indeed, it has been difficult beyond words because I have looked forward to working with so many of you to advance the commitment of academic excellence that has propelled this great university across centuries. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. Now, apparently this woman has been forced to step down due to acts of plagiarism, and because of what's been going on at Harvard in terms of speech and that, rallies, protests, what have you, in regards to the Israel and Palestine fiasco that's going on right now. Of course, that horrible attack on October 7th. And apparently some people, students, University of Harvard, are siding with Palestine on this. Now, I certainly don't agree with that. I don't believe terrorists should be allowed to just go around killing people. I believe anybody who's responsible for these attacks are obviously terrorists and should be dealt with accordingly. Be that as it may. And again, this woman being forced to resign, I hold no water for this Claudine Gay woman. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, good riddance. You know, don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out. She's probably one of these woke wackos who merely got her job simply because of the color of her skin or her gender and promotes all this woke nonsense. But what troubles me, and I'm sure you remember this, is when she was called before Congress to testify. Here, let me read this to you from the same story from SCNR News, formerly Timcast News. During a December 5th testimony before the House Committee on Education and the Workforce, Rep. Elise Stefanik, a Republican from New York, asked Gay if calling for the genocide of Jews violates Harvard's rules of bullying and harassment. Yes or no? Now, I don't know if you guys have seen this, videotapes of this, or video of this maybe on X or on YouTube or what have you. The exchange, the back and forth. And obviously Gay was, Claudine Gay, you know, she was under pressure to explain herself, and she didn't do a very good job at it, obviously. The problem I have is, this is a member of Congress calling out someone before Congress, questioning her about how she's handling Harvard's rules of bullying and harassment. in regards to speech. Government is not allowed to do such things. The reason why the founders thought it was so important that we had the freedom of speech, they put it in the very First Amendment, so that government could not crack down on speech it didn't like. And I'm not talking about extreme speech, like me getting in your face and calling you names and threatening to kill you and things like that. I'm talking about taking sides politically, whether you're pro-Palestine, pro-Israel, whether you're in favor of Ukraine and supporting Ukraine, or you support Russia in this war, or whether you're ambivalent about it, regardless of what you think about the matter. Government is not allowed to come out and say, no, you can't say that. You can't choose that side. You can't be pro-Palestine. You can't be pro-Israel. That is unacceptable. And that is something we should all be fighting against. When something like this happens, we have to call people like this out. This woman, what is her name again? Elise Stefanik, should be run out of Congress. Whether you agree or not with what the people on Harvard's campus are saying about the Palestine-Israel thing, that's beside the point. Government is not allowed to crack down on speech. It is not allowed to call you before Congress and say, why are these people on your campus saying this? Nor should they be allowed to. That is unacceptable. You and I, as citizens, can say whatever we want about this. We can say this is bullshit. What they're saying about Palestinian, I totally disagree with. Or what they're saying about Israel, whatever. Congress, government, cannot and should not be allowed to do this, to pressure you, to crack down on speech, even if it's speech that you personally disagree with. Because at some point, that cracking down will come back to hit you. It is hitting many of you, or at least many of the people that you agree with and support. The J6ers, for example, are being railroaded, for the most part, for doing nothing wrong. Yes, there were some people who got violent and did some stupid things. Sure, they deserve to be punished and maybe go to prison or jail and serve some time. A vast majority of the people there did nothing wrong. Grandma walking around with her little American flag did nothing wrong. And some of these people are still in prison. Some of these people are still waiting to have their trials. People who were not even there on January 6th were rounded up after the fact. They were never even there. But I'm getting sidetracked here. Back to the Harvard thing. This is unacceptable. This woman, Elise Stefanik, we should demand she resign. We cannot allow this to happen. Anybody in government, anybody with any power in government, any politician in government who is trying to crack down on free speech in this way should be run out of office immediately. Anybody running for office who mentions anything about censoring speech in any way, shape, or form, like Nikki Haley did with people online who aren't using their real full names and posting behind, Patriot Daddy or something like that in X instead of their full name, John Doe. She wants to change that, so you have to use your full name. She should never be allowed to hold political office ever again. That is unacceptable. It doesn't matter whether the person is a Democrat or Republican or whoever. They should not be allowed to hold office. We have to fight back against this, my friends. Whether you agree with the speech that's happening at the time or not. It is not right. It is not acceptable. We cannot allow government to dictate to us what we can and cannot say, who we can and cannot support. You should not be punished for supporting. My speech is getting jumbled. Often my brain, travels 100,000 times faster than my mouth, and I get my speech gets garbled. Government should not be able to crack down on people because they support Donald Trump. Because you're questioning the results of the 2020 election. But they are. They're labeling you domestic terrorists. We can't allow this to happen. And that goes for when they do the same thing to the left. Even if they were cracking down on Biden supporters for some reason, we have to stand up and say, no, you are not allowed to do that. You and I as citizens can say whatever we want about them and say they're full of shit for supporting Joe Biden or whatever. But government cannot do this. It cannot crack down on people for expressing their opinions. And I'll leave it at that. Let me know what you think, my friends. You can leave a comment here in response to this video if you like. My email, according to Waz, at gmail.com. Feel free to email me anytime you want. Any kind of comments you want to leave, you want to say hi, you want to say you suck, Waz, you're horrible, I hate you. Hey, it's all good. You know, bring it on. But anyway, hope you all have a happy new year. I'm glad you're still safe and sound and around to hear the sound of my lovely voice. And I will be coming at you again soon, my friends. Take care.